Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. We are here in Portsmouth and we've got the Duff man just qualified for finals night, so he's in a good mood. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so it's good to catch up.
Wish you would do it in the morning time before we've had a drink.
No, it's better this way around. First of all, I want to take you back, because I haven't spoken to you since Lakeside last year. First of all, what was it like going back as defending champion, and was it a relief in the end when it was done? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I kind of at times over the course of that 12 months or 20 months or whatever it was, I started to actually think it was the worst thing I've ever done. Was it a good thing to be a world champion? Because so much pressure comes with it. Every competition you go to, and even now, you can see it in Modus, where 70 average guys are just up in their game, and this has been constant. This has been ever since I ever won it. So yeah, you go in with a certain different sort of pressure. But the thing is, I'm going back in again this year with no pressure at all, and that's when that's where I'm the most dangerous.
Was it a different feeling going back as defending champion? Did it feel different to the first time?
I kind of half expected it to. I kind of, maybe that the organiser may have made more of a big deal of it, having to defend the champion back. They didn't, so it was just another player. But I don't mind that. Yeah, but then they're going to do it this year without a defending world champion anyway. So they are. So maybe they should make more of their, not just the world champion. I think the WDF have to look after their top 16 seeds better than they are at the minute. With the likes of the Masters, change the Masters back to put give the top seeds the last 32 places. I think it would make sense. I think guys who travel around and they pick up points for one competition a year. It's, I mean, at least you had the World Dart Trophy and stuff like that in the past. Give them something, reward them for being in that top 16 place, bring the Masters on, put them in at the last 32.
We'll come on to that in a minute. Lakeside this year, obviously, I know that you were disappointed there was no TV deal, but once the dust has settled, did it work in the guys that they went with, do you feel?
It was a great competition, don't get me wrong. It was well organised, it was well executed. I know the guys behind the scene were trying their heart out and they wanted to be a success, and coming away from there, I would say it was a success. It's good that the WDF have got more control over the ticket sales, because the Saturday night and Sunday night were absolutely packed to the rafters, and that's what makes the atmosphere in the Lakeside. It was a pity I wasn't on stage playing it, but yeah, I would put it down as a success. Is there still work to do? Yeah, 100% there is, but we'll see how this year goes.
Well, already ticket sales are very good. The numbers that we're seeing are very good, so that must be encouraging that they are moving in the right direction. Yeah,
but that was the thing. Let the Lakeside give the WDF more control over ticket sales. Whenever the Lakeside were charging $62.50 for a Tuesday afternoon, it's not going to fill seats. Do you know what I mean? Again, the midweek matches, it's definitely something you can look at there, where the numbers are going to be down, but put tickets out to the youth academies and get them in and get the atmosphere going. You've been there many times. The Lakeside's definitely probably the best atmosphere in the darts world that I've ever played in. So yeah, I can see it moving forward this year. I think there's been a few new faces have come on board and a bit more money invested in it. And I know Nick Rolls tries his heart out. So we'll see how it goes.
Moving on to this year, the Masters is back. Look, the prize money.
What is it? Let me know.
I think it's €10,000.
Oh, it's been announced, is it?
Yeah, it's
I haven't seen it.
Look, for the second major, the prize money isn't great, but is the important thing that the Masters is back on the calendar?
Oh, 100%. The Masters has to be there. Oldest competition in the sport, it has to be there. Did they get it right the last time round? And for me, the venue was wrong, the format was wrong. I think it should go back to how it used to be, sets. This round robin thing, but then from what I'm seeing there, you're going to have Bob Anderson, Phil Taylor, all qualified to play this year. They're all coming.
Technically, yes, if they wanted to take up their invites, they could.
We've got youth players who won a youth event, who have now turned 18 and they've qualified for it. I don't know if they're capping the entries, how many there's going to be in it. But it's in Hungary, which is, it's not expensive to get to, it's not expensive to stay there, compared to the Dutch 2 years ago. But yeah, I'm glad it's on. I kind of wish the WDF could maybe do a little more, bring the World Dart Trophy back, something like that there, because they need to protect their brand. They're not protecting their brand. There's another brand sitting on the sidelines just cleaning up the minute.
Damn right, I'm coming on to that in a minute.
Yeah, but and we actually, you and I sat and had this conversation 2 years ago, and I said exactly the same thing, that if that thing isn't there, then there's always someone else there to pick up the slack, and they're doing it in spades at the minute.
Would you like to see a proper qualifying criteria then for the Masters? Forget all this nostalgia, if you've won it before you get an invite. A proper qualifying structure.
Yeah. The way it is, I actually think, I can't confirm, but I think Northern Ireland got four on the regional rankings, which is pretty much the national team. Myself, like myself and Barry, who have qualified through European Tour events and stuff like that there. The last Masters, we had 13 qualifiers. So the numbers are down that way there, but so it's the guys who are playing county darts, getting themselves in a position, they're losing out now because they've got 2 years of qualifiers to catch up on. I'm thinking there's going to be 1,000 players in the men's event, but we'll just have to see when it happens.
You're playing in both ADC events and WDF events at the moment. Are you seeing a noticeable difference in the way that tournaments are run and structured then, by what you're saying about, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the ADC are more modern and younger feel to darts?
ADC is bringing a younger field of darts players into the game, so they are. I'll give them that there. We have a lot of the vault stuff and stuff at home, and we're seeing a lot of 16 to 22 who played darts with their friends during lockdown, never really had an interest in going and playing league darts, but the vaults have come up and they've started playing that there, and we're getting the same guys, and they're the nicest young guys. We've actually put a Scully up in my own bar, and they're coming down Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, standing there just playing the Scully up. There they are. So ADC has moved that on. As far as, put it this way, the European WDF events are well run, well organised, well executed. Personally, a lot of the home stuff, it's not even worth going to now. Really not. It's not worth going to. 96 entries, I think there was for Ilfracombe. Scottish Open, I've not been there in the last couple of years because it's not high on my agenda, but there is a big difference. Scott Hunt, we've been to Middlesbrough for the first two ADC events. Obviously missed the Aylesbury this weekend, didn't realise it was on, but I'd booked my flights, so. But it is far more superior executed. The setup is good. The ADC Don't get me wrong, when it was Mad Darts, I quite questioned a lot of it. I really did. And me and Steve Brown talked about it a few times. Then the ADC has and it's developing all the time. But they have reinvested all that money, all new stands, all new iPads. It really is a good setup. And I enjoy playing them more than I've enjoyed playing WDF events.
Not worldwide, obviously, because the WDF have got a footprint all over the world, but certainly in the UK, is the WDF dying because of the ADC?
But it's not just in the UK. In the Netherlands, in Belgium, there's ADC, the ADC Europe. It's a fast track to get young guys they're going to get in the modus and play on TV. What's not to like? The thing is, they're putting the stuff out there between finals and the Christmas, this thing, they have Christmas coming up and all as well. So I mean, they're making it worthwhile to go and do these events. Don't get me wrong, I love the WDF and I love everything they've done for me. I'm not going to stand there and badmouth them. And some of the overseas events, I think, if I ever stopped playing, I would probably still go to them just to see friends that I've made. But you get the feeling that you can point mistakes out that can make something better, but no one wants to listen. That's kind of how I feel with a lot of the WDF events at the minute, is that they're making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and they can't take constructive criticism. It's an insult to them, so then they don't want to change, so they dig their heels in. Until that actually changes, the WDF's not even the WDF, but the tour events is not going to move forward.
Well, you're not the only one to say that. I had Matthew Edgar in here, and he said he goes to Slovakia, wherever, and they're superb. He said, but the home nations aren't good enough.
Slovakia is the best competition on the WDF tour. And I've said it more, and do you know what? There's no iPads, there's no microphones, there's no Rob Butler exterminating people left, right and centre. There's a bit of paper underneath the board. And the times that you start your matches are on that board, on that sheet of paper. Nothing starts before it, nothing starts after it. There's no redraws, there's no nothing. And it runs like clockwork. The venue's brilliant, the beer's cheap. But yeah, it's great. What a great event. Denmark's the same. Another great event. Do you know what I mean? But they're the guys who are actually pumping money in, and they're doing these things to improve all the time. And if something did actually come up and you said to them, they would take it on board. It's not a personal attack at England Darts or Tri-Nations themselves, but nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in 15 years since I started playing. Nothing has changed. They still make the same mistakes. They still redraws, leaving seeded players out of the draw. I played in Bridlington 2 years ago, and the first draw that came out, I was a WDF number 1 seed, and I wonder why I was playing on board 18. They'd used the seeds from 2011. Damon Stanley was the number 1 seed that day. He wasn't there. Wasn't there. But that's human error. There's nothing else to be said for that.
With the home nations, is there too many egos involved?
I try and word this properly. I'm not sure whether Tri-Nations as a whole it's an ego. I think
the individual.
Maybe they think as a unit that they're bigger than the WDF or bigger than any other organisation, and they can hold them to ransom whenever something doesn't go their way. I see a lot of it. I say it could do a lot of new blood in it, with new ideas and to freshen it up. Yeah, it's actually a worrying time. I've seen some things there over the last few weeks, and I know you've talked about it with the transgender issue and stuff like that there. But even some of the comments on social media from officials who represent them competitions, who work in them competitions, and some of the language that they use, and it's just, doesn't sit well with me.
I was going to come on to it anyway, but you've kind of beat me to it. You've been at these events, and again, we've spoken about it off of camera. Obviously, I won't say what was said, but we've spoken off camera. I've spoken to other players. Has the atmosphere, the tension, and the way things have been dealt with at these events as bad as what it seems?
Yeah. Of course, it's going to cause an atmosphere. It's definitely going to cause an atmosphere anywhere you go. Probably it maxed out at the Six Nations 2 weeks ago. Everyone was kind of on the understanding that anyone that was playing under protest was still going to play, but everything changed. The whole atmosphere of the venue changed to a point where we actually didn't even sit in the venue to watch any darts. We went out and sat out in the hotel lobby and the bar. I don't have a problem with anyone having an opinion or their views. It's the timing of these things. For me, the big one was whenever the two girls pulled out of the Dutch national team. One was done on a Saturday night, knowing that they had to go back into the venue the next day at the women's series and face this, knowing full well it was going to explode all over social media. I think the timing was wrong. It could have been kept until Monday or until Sunday night. So then that's what provokes an opinion into bullying, and there's been loads of bullying. It's been all over. I don't think the whole thing. Now, as far as Dita's concerned, I love Dita to bits. She's been my pairs partner for the last 4 or 5 years, and in her own way, in her own right, I would support her, and I respected her for how she went about it. With the Six Nations thing, it's kind of hard to justify. With the time scale of announcements that was made, one thing and another there, I think maybe she went about it the wrong way. And I think over the course of the last 2 months, it has fractured our relationship between England Darts and the Dutch Darts Federation, which I don't think I'll ever get back again. And it's such a pity too, and I'm kind of, I can have my personal opinion, but myself and not only Noel Lynn, but I'm friendly with Samantha Lewis, and my own opinion, they're not breaking any rules until the rules change. They're there, they're doing their thing, and well within their rights to do so, and they've got my full support.
I'll touch on what you said, the word bullying. Do you feel that it has become bullying against the individuals and not the rules?
Absolutely. I watched it in Denmark. I watched it in Denmark. Not Dita, but I watched it where it became a personal issue between two people, and it didn't sit well with me. It really didn't sit well with me. But I'll go back to what I am off social media, but I kind of come on to have a look, and I made a comment which I screenshot and I sent to you just to let you see it, to keep myself right. And it was whenever organisation officials are using words like bullying and blackmail, that's whenever it's crossing the line. And this is from people who work for organisations. It shouldn't happen. It really, really shouldn't happen. Now, Nolan's a very good friend of mine. I don't care who anybody's going to say about it. I will go and I'll meet her this afternoon before she plays tonight. Lovely, beautiful person. And if maybe some people actually just took it to one side and got to know Nolan, they might change their attitude. I kind of walk into it like, I'll deal with these things like it was one of my kids come home and tell me they're going to transition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it does happen to some of these people that have had their views, and then they have to rethink it when it becomes personal. But as far as I'm concerned, I hope Noah gets on and good chance she might end up getting her tour card out of it, and probably the best thing that happened to her, get away from the WDF, because the girl is actually scared to play, scared to go to events now. I watched her, I sat with her in the reception in Galway 2 weeks ago, and I shadowed herself, and anyone has to commend her because of the mental health that she's had to suffer. I know everyone has their arguments about it, about bone density and menstrual cycle and this, that and the other, but if you tell me what's the difference between Dita, who's 65, and Eleanor, who's 18, 19, there's a difference in their bone density, difference in their menstrual cycle. So we make it an age thing now too. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that's going to rumble on until the powers that be actually take it face on.
Well, the PDC have been open that they're not going to make any changes. They're happy with theirs. I'm guessing the WDF are the same because Nolan is still playing in all their events, not just Nolan and Victoria as well that qualified for Lakeside last year. Do you feel that because the organisations are happy with their rules, that the individuals now are almost going off on their own to create problems because the organisations won't change their rules?
But I said it. What happened in Galway, whenever it actually broke, I automatically said that there was a huge propaganda statement. It was that it had been premeditated and it was going to happen. Whether it was or whether it wasn't, I don't know. I think so much of data that I don't think that she would actually go down that route, but it depends on any strings being pulled or the people behind that, you know. But it seems to be that England darts have just got this into their heads now, and it's going to rumble on. I made a comment. Obviously, you know about the Samantha Lewis thing. She entered Alfred was refused. I commented on something on Facebook and asked Tommy Thompson outright, if a transgender person puts their entries in, will they be allowed to play? And the reply was, England Darts Organisation refused the right, to reserve the right to refuse admission. And I asked him again, yeah, but I've got a trans girl here who wants to play. If she puts her entries in, can you play? Same answer. Which is, it can't be doing the organisation any good as well. You know, Chelsea's going to be coming up. Yeah, you'll get a few of the local players and stuff like that there going. I don't know whether you maybe get the same overseas players there. I think that, and it's not only the way they've taken it, it's the choice of words that they've used along with it. Dangerous words, in my opinion. I've seen emails, and whenever they're calling so-called women, from an organisation said that shouldn't even happen, they should be protecting them. And I actually, whenever I kind of broke about the Six Nations was in jeopardy over it, and I was asked can I look into it and see where we would stand on it, and I was able to go on to England Darts, and I actually highlighted the diversity page where England Darts is open to. I'm not just showcasing England Darts, by the way. There's a lot of them the same. They're going to let anybody play, race, gender, equality. But it seems to be that the equality issue has kind of doesn't seem to be as worth much these days.
At this point, do the WDF, in your opinion, as the governing body, need to step in that if, not just England Darts, you said that, if any organisation doesn't align themselves rule-wise with the WDF, should their events then have ranking points? For argument's sake, like you said, that if they're not going to let a transgender female play in their events, when transgender females can play in WDF at Lakeside, should those events then be stripped of ranking points?
But the thing is, if transgender are allowed to play under the rules that WDF set out, and the WDF grant ranking points to competitions based on certain there has to be certain rules in place, and one of them is the equality, that they can't discriminate against one person one way or another. So in hindsight, they're actually, one organisation is breaking the organisation's rules. So I don't know, the WDF, I think the next meeting will be Slovakia for the Europe Cup. It'll be interesting, but it's definitely something that the WDF have to look at, have to take into account. If a certain fragment of society is not being allowed to play in their competitions, yeah, it can open a can of worms here. I can't say I wouldn't blame the WDF for doing it. You know. Do
certain individuals within organisations have too much power then, in your opinion?
Well, they have the power within their own organisations, but
that's what I mean. Within their own organisations, do they have too much power?
Yeah, but they have. But then they have done for 30 years. You know what I mean? That's why nothing's changed. But I mean, I know organisations where it's the old brigade, and they don't want change. They don't want iPads. They don't want to drag themselves into the 23rd century. You know, and even bringing young blood in. Until the time where they actually get rid of the old guard, they have done a brilliant job, and they've worked tirelessly and thanklessly. But until there is that fresh, I actually had this conversation. We were going to, where were we going to last? Middlesbrough, I think, coming home from Middlesbrough. Back on the transgender thing, we came through a train station, and 6 different workers that I seen were transgender, transitioned into female. And I sat there and I said, we were talking about it, and I says, this is here. It's here. I mean, it's part of society now. I'm 51, and in fairness, my daughters have actually said to me, you actually take a quite liberal outlook on this. But I do, I take that liberal outlook, because if it was any of them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't love them any less, but it's here, it's a growing thing, and there has to be some kind of, for the old brigade, it's harder for them to actually put it into context and to deal with it. If the younger blood in, it might freshen things up and take a better outlook on how society is changing, and it's always changing, and very, very quickly. So, yeah, I'd be for any organisation that actually wants to bring in some new blood and deal with society as it is today.
Just picking this back up because we hit the recording time limit. It's really great to hear your views on it, and it's a very level approach to it. I know that you've been explosive before about saying things, but that's a very, very level.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to do it without actually condemning any particular organisation, or because it's not my place. They have their point of view on it, but whether I agree with their point of view and how they're dealing with things, I think, as far as Tri-Nation is concerned, it's left a lot to be desired, and it will be reflected in their own competitions.
Moving forward, let's go back to you, the dart player. Do you feel the most comfortable in your game that you've felt since winning that World Championship?
Yes, at home. At home I am. I'm playing a lot of ADC events, and kind of like the ADC rankings from second place to 32 ranges from 280 points to 112. I've got 850 points. I'm winning everything, and I'm feeling comfortable there. The travelling thing, and this week, motor side, it takes me a few days to then health issues and dealing on that. You know yourself, we've spoken personally. I've been dealing with some things, but I'm playing with a smile on my face. I'm enjoying it again. and that's what it kind of went missing for a lot of months. Picked up my last WDF tour event there. I think it was 17 months or 7 months or 11 months. But I'm actually I'm enjoying playing. It didn't look like it this week, obviously. I've been struggling with grip and struggling with changing my darts over. But on the whole, I'm enjoying playing. I still want to play. If it gets to the point where I actually just don't like it anymore, I'm not enjoying it, I'll take a time out. But yeah, I'm still here, still going.
Plenty coming up as well. Like you say, we've got ADC events, seniors events, WDF events. It's going to be a busy back end of the year for Neil Duff.
It's kind of, I went a bit crazy actually the back end of the year, because we said wasn't going to do as much this year, not doing as much of the foreign travel. We'll miss being in Australia this year, but I went back to international play this year. I'm sitting on 99 caps, so we're going to Slovakia for the Europe Cup. That'll get my 100th cap over me. Yeah, ADC. There's one last event in Aylesbury, then we're in Middlesbrough end of October for the finals, plus the UK Grand Slam. And then here? If I decide we're going to the Masters, I'm down here for 2 weeks in September, back to back. If I win tomorrow night, it'll be 3 weeks actually. So I'll do Champions Week and then the other couple of weeks. Yeah, and then I'm hoping to do the seniors tour at the end of this month. Then we've got the York match play. Yeah. Match play in York, Masters in Sunderland. And all this here before the Lakeside even kicks off. So yeah, it's going to be busy. And then here after the Lakeside. Yeah, we're back for 2 weeks before Christmas, yeah. Yeah, for the Global ADC. Championship, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about it as well. Wow. I know that I remember speaking to you when you won the Lakeside and you went, it's a bit of a hobby that keeps me off the building site. Has it become more than that now? It has to a point, yeah. It was what kind of cemented me to go on, okay, I don't want to be on a building site, I want to play darts for a living. Which I'm doing, and I'm grateful for that. I mean, there's a lot of people who want to be in my shoes, they want to be playing. Sponsors are looking after me. Obviously, Modus really looks after me. Jason's been an absolute legend. I'm actually thinking about buying a property down here because I'm down here so often and I'm just not giving Frank any more money. But yeah, I'm grateful for everything that gets put my way, you know, long may it continue. I know you've been very adamant that the PDC is not for you. Does this show everyone else that there is a pathway in darts without the PDC, that you can play darts all the time and it be your living without being in the PDC? Yeah, well, there is, but the thing is, because of that title that I won, it came with bonuses of being invited into cash competitions and stuff like that there, you know, into majors, TV majors, and along with the TV stuff then comes the sponsors and stuff like that there. So I've been very lucky that way, but I would say if anyone's kind of under 30 and two minds what to do, go to the PDC, go. I mean, look at Josh, these young guys who are coming up through. I mean, there is an absolute fortune to be made out there for good players. For me, it kind of probably came at the wrong time. Had I been 10 years younger, I would have thought about it. I've never had the desire now to go to a Q school, but I'll never 100% rule it out because you just don't know. You don't know. Maybe next year I'll not get as many invited stuff, so the PDC might be an option just to go for, I don't know, you know, wanted a tour card. I've seen so many guys get a tour card and think that's it, they're superstars, and then 2 years later they're coming back and I know they go and they give it their all, but a tour card doesn't mean you're a professional dart player. You know what I mean? Not whenever you're coming back and you're working in a factory, you're window cleaning or whatever. I mean, whenever you're travelling, 196 flights last year, I did. Just that's a professional dart player's life, and it's not glamorous. It's by any means. It's all airports and taxi rides and hotels. That's it.
Or picking me up from the airport.
Pick you up from the airport. Yeah.
So there is a little itch that maybe scratch one day then.
There always has been a thing, but just with the opportunities I have now.
Yeah, of course, I understand that.
It's not really an option. Don't get me wrong, anybody gets the opportunity, play Modus, come to Portsmouth and play Modus for a week, and you would actually question what your future, you would change what your future plans might be. I'm down here, my last match today was my 125th match down here.
Yeah.
The most played player in Portsmouth. And I would do it every week. If I had the opportunity, I would do it every week. It's brilliant, the setup is brilliant. And people don't realise actually what goes on behind the scenes of something like this here. They see 6 players going out there, and Paul Hinks or Owen Binks standing on the stage. But the amount of bodies that's actually doing things in here full time all day long. The setup is second to none, absolutely second to none. And yeah, I say, as long as I'm not going to tour Cardiff, I stand down here for a long time.
I remember in the build-up to Lakeside when you won it, you were telling everyone, I will win Lakeside. I remember you told Wayne at an exhibition and he had a little punt. Are you feeling that kind of feeling ahead of this year's tournament?
You know, I still work with Stephen and Kevin, the sports psychologist. I still work with him. He was a big part of the reason why I went in like that. Whenever I played in the Masters was held there in 2017, and I was waiting to go on stage to play Dean Reynolds, and an old Irish legend, Sean McGowan, pulled me and he says, you will never feel any different or anything like walking onto that stage. He's played the Lakeside, and he was 100% right. I walked out and I played Dean, and like I'd never lifted a dart before. So when it came around that time, I worked with Stephen, and we just bolstered my head that I couldn't lose. I couldn't lose. And even with the McCune game, when I was 3 sets down, 2 legs down, in my head, I still wasn't losing. And that's what kind of started then the great return then, you know, the big comeback. But, yeah, I'll be working on that feeling again. But I would love to have a seniors title before the end of the year. And I want to play Phil. Before there's not going to be 2 more opportunities after this. So I'd love to, in York or Sunderland, to play Phil Taylor. I think that would probably just be the icing on the cake for my career.
So by December the 14th or whatever it is, will Neil Duff be a seniors champion, a 2-time Lakeside champion, and an ADC global champion?
How good does that sound though? How good does that sound? Yeah. And also Champions Week down here is very much on the hit list. Yeah, but the thing is, I need to come here and do a week, but keep the averages up enough that it keeps me in, because coming in 2 days, it takes me 2 days to warm up. So it does. So yeah, I set myself small goals. The Champions Week is one of them for 2024. The Lakeside, I'm confident that I'll be pushing for that title again. It would mean a lot to me to have that title again. So, but I think maybe I wouldn't be. Last year I got beat in the quarter-final, and I went outside and I broke down. And I came back in, and Dita just gave me a hug. It meant a lot to me to lose that. A lot of the time I actually cursed it because of all the attention and stuff. But yeah, she gave me a hug, and it felt like a loss. Felt like I'd lost something. So yeah, I want to get that back.
No, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you as always, my friend. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, pal.